How's it going, guys? Today we are here with the C2GS Draft League Season 0, Week 3. Um, so this is Week 3. I'm your coach, some random fellow, and today we are currently 1-0. And this week we're going against Espeon, who is currently 1-1. I had a bye week in the first week, and my opponent has not had any bye weeks yet, which is why they've played more games than I have. So let's get started. Our first vital team member is going to be Vision the Slowbro. This is going to be our primary Entei switch-in. If Entei does attack against this, the best that it can do is Crunch. It does 37.5% max. If we're Mega Slowbro taking a Crunch from an Adamant Banded Entei, that's why we have max HP and max defense here. This is just going to absorb as many hits from Entei as possible and potentially threaten it out with a Scald. We could possibly get a Teleport or a Slack Off. It's also kind of a decent Keldeo switch-in. The thing is, a Specs Hydro Pump from Keldeo is pretty scary, especially when it's raining. And if it happens to have Hidden Power Grass, then that could be even scarier. It also gets access to Mega Horn, but it would need to be a fully physically offensive Keldeo in order for Mega Horn to be an issue. So I'm not particularly worried about that. And it can take most non-Shadow Ball hits from Espeon fairly easily. So yeah, we have basically near max defense investment, and then we have 8 speed EVs just to avoid any potential speed creeps from something like Ferrothorn. Next is War Machine the Charizard. This is a Choice Scarf Cleaner set with Blaze because there is no threatening Sunsetters anywhere. We have Hurricane here in case my opponent brings Rain because they have Politoed. And Politoed plus Keldeo can be like a pretty threatening combination. Flamethrower is just for stab. It hits the steel types really well. Air Slash is like a more consistent, more accurate flying stab. If it's not raining and I really want to make sure that it lands, I can opt to go for the Air Slash instead of the Hurricane. And Scorching Sands is mostly for Entei. We have enough speed investment on this set to we outspeed is their two fastest unboosted team members, Espeon and Alolan Dugtrio, pretty easily. We also outspeed a Scarfed Malamar, and we even have enough investment to outspeed a Jolly Mega Mawile under Tailwind. My opponent has been known to bring Tailwind Altaria in tandem with Mega Mawile, so I wanted to make sure that I'm able to outspeed even that. And then we put the remaining EVs into the defense instead of HP just to take hits from things like Mawile or Entei slightly better, because there's a lot of threatening physical threats, and a lot of the special ones are water type, so there's not really that much point in trying to take hits from them better. So I figured we're not gonna live like a water type attack in the rain or anything like that. So I just figured putting it in the defense is probably slightly better than HP or something like that. Next, we have Captain America, the Donphan, returning from last week. I figured that this is a pretty good anti-Dugtrio lead. In the previous 2 weeks, my opponent has brought Alolan Dugtrio both weeks and led with it both weeks, presumably with the intention of setting up Stealth Rock. So this is just kind of a way to get around that. Earthquake is a one-hit KO, and we even have Rapid Spin to spin away the Dugtrio's rocks, and we can also set up our own rocks. We also have Knockoff because there's a lot of items on my opponent's team that I would really like to knock off, like Type Null's potential Eviolite, Altaria's Heavy Duty Boots. Ferrothorn could be having Leftovers or Rocky Helmet, and taking up Choice Band. My opponent ran Jolly Max Speed Mawile the last 2 times, so I have 40 speed EVs, so that I'm guaranteed to outspeed Max Speed Jolly Mawile even at +1. So yeah, and then the 108 attack EVs are able to knock out an uninvested Espeon with Knockoff in 1 hit. It's also able to 1-hit KO Entei with an Earthquake after Stealth Rock damage. I thought about putting on something like Soft Sand or Expert Belt to guarantee the KO without rocks, but I figured that Leftovers is overall probably better. And if I had an Adamant Nature with 0 attack EVs, that would also accomplish the same like offensive benchmarks. But I decided instead to go with an Impish Nature because while it reaches the same offensive benchmarks, I'm slightly bulkier on the physical side if I go with a defensive build like this. Next up is Klefki. Klefki, while it normally is like just a prankster, like screen setter, spike setter, stuff like that, this Klefki's main role in this fight is actually going to be a defensive switch into Espeon. It should actually accomplish this surprisingly well. Um, the most threatening move it can hit us with is Shadow Ball, and with a light screen up, it's not even doing that much. Play Rough is our offensive move. It's our strongest damage against Espeon, and we have 92 attack EVs to guarantee a 2-hit KO against an uninvested Espeon, assuming we hit both times. We have Light Screen just to like, as soon as we switch into Espeon's attack, we can set up a Light Screen just to maximize our survivability. It also makes Keldeo more manageable. Part of me wanted to replace Defog with Reflect and just give it Light Clay, just because it can like we can just go like full screen setter against, so that way we can also handle something like Malamar or Entei or something like that better with a Reflect up. But as of right now, we have Defog to get rid of hazards. Just more hazard removal support for Charizard because we're not a heavy duty boot set. So I figured that having 2 hazard removers is probably better than having 1. And then Protect is there just to give us a little bit more leftovers recovery. I know that it kind of has anti-synergy with Light Screen because it's wasting turns, but in the end of the day, I'm Prankster, and if the screen just goes away, I can immediately set up another one. It's like a slight loss of momentum, but I think overall, since its main job is to take hits from Espeon and to hit KO with Player Up, I think this is overall a better investment. I could be wrong, though. If you disagree, let me know. But yeah, this is what I decided to go with. And yeah, we're max special defense investment so that we can take hits from Espeon especially well. Even if it has like Calm Mind or something like that, we still shrug off hits pretty well. Next up is Thor Arzera Aura. This is actually a sub bulk up set, which I'm pretty excited to use. If I can find an opportunity to set up a substitute and then a bulk up, this can be like pretty devastating. I think I can do it pretty effectively against like a really passive type null set where it can only really like U-turn or toxic me, or if possibly against Mega Mawile, where if it wants to set up a Swords Dance, or not a Swords Dance, if it wants to use Sucker Punch, I can counter that by using a substitute, and then I could bulk up the following turn, and now things are getting really threatening. Also, if I can get it in a position where I'm forcing my opponent to switch out, that's another really good opportunity to start setting up. And yeah, so Plasma Fists and Blaze Kick is all I really need. Blaze Kick is basically for the steals, and Plasma Fist is kind of just for everything else. And we have Heavy Duty Boots, which is overall a good item for a sub bulk up set. I was gonna go Leftovers, but I decided that I would rather go with Heavy Duty Boots because hazards were kind of a big deal in testing. And I wanted to hide my set a little better. Maybe I could bluff something like Expert Belt or a choice item, perhaps. So I decided to go with Heavy Duty Boots for that reason. And then lastly, we have Falcon, the Noivern, with a Heavy Duty Boots Infiltrator set. This is going to be actually our primary Keldeo switch-in, which is why we have max special defense EVs and a whole bunch of HP EVs and no special attack investment. It's just, this thing's job is just to switch into hits from Keldeo, pretty much. It's pretty bad against Icy Wind. That would honestly be kind of like a big deal if it used Icy Wind against me. But the idea behind that is we switch it into Keldeo. Hope it's not Icy Wind. It probably won't be, realistically. And then Hurricane is almost a 2-hit KO. It's almost a 1-hit KO. It does like a lot. It does like in the 90s, I think, something like that. And if it's both Keldeo and Noivern are sent out at the same time, I can U-turn to get a little bit of chip off so that it's in range of Hurricane. I can U-turn into my Slowbro to scout for Icy Wind, essentially, because just knowing that is really good. Infiltrator helps if it's like a sub-call mindset. I can just ignore the substitute and then just Hurricane past it anyway. Flamethrower, again, it hits the steel types. Yeah, so U-turn is good for like chipping the Keldeo, and it's also just good for momentum in general. And then Roost is obviously for sustainability. Something else about U-turn. My opponent has Malamar, which is actually kind of threatening to this team if it's able to like set up its superpowers, and if it's like maybe if it's like a rest set or something like that. That was really threatening to me in testing. So Noivern was added as like a partial contingency to that. U-turn is a 2-hit KO to max HP Malamar. It's like around 50% like on average. Um, I think like combination of like U-turns and then like Charizard or maybe even Zeraora could hopefully that's enough to take it out. We'll see. It's kind of threatening though, and I don't really know what else to do about it to be honest. And yeah, our speed EVs are here to outspeed Keldeo, and if I'm outspeeding Keldeo, I might as well outspeed Espeon and Alolan Dugtrio. But mostly I wanted to outspeed Keldeo. I was thinking about going with a max HP, max special defense investment with a gentle nature that's special defense boosting, defense reducing. But at the end of the day, I decided that speed boosting is better because I want to be able to outspeed Keldeo in the first place. And the reason why we have a defense reducing nature is because I still want my U-turns to be doing a good amount of damage to Malamar specifically. So I didn't want to run an attack reducing nature, and I kind of need the rest of my stats, which is why I decided to go with the defense reducing nature. Um, so yeah, that's basically the team. Hopefully things go well. The battle is going to be live tomorrow. It's offset by a day from last week because the battle's actually going to be on Saturday. So I'm uploading the team builder tomorrow on Sunday, and then the battle's going to be live on Monday. So, and last week my battle was before Saturday, so I put the team builder up on Saturday and then the battle itself on Sunday. I think going forward, the team builders are probably going to be live on Sunday, and then the match itself is going to be on Monday, just because I can't guarantee that I'm going to have all my battles done before Saturday always. It's hard to do that with two people that have like real lives and stuff. But yeah, that's basically the team. Overall, I think it's a pretty good team. I think it gets the job done, and I think we're gonna come out of this with a W. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the battle. Yeah, thanks for watching.